Nothing yet. I mean, we're still kind of waiting to see with him, honestly. We'll see kind of how he does between now and then and kind of figure it out.
How?
Powell will not play. Yeah, not this week.
And Tandy?
Won't play this week. Out. Yeah.
Darius White?
Good to go. Yeah, good to go.
Joe Willis?
Good to go. Yeah.
So, what have you figured out about dealing with WSU's pass attack?
Well, I mean, the thing that they do such a good job of is they're pretty simple, and they're simple by design. They want to be simple. It's an execution-based offense. You know, they're not trying to trick you or any of that kind of thing, and they execute it very well. And quarterback's a good player, and offensive line is very much improved, and receivers are good. You know, experienced, big guys, caught a lot of balls, can do a lot of different things. So, you know, what you have to do is try to, just try to cover them the best you can and try to get a pass rush. And so those are going to be the things that are important for us is to, to get some pressure on the quarterback, make him uncomfortable, and then cover the guys and make plays on the ball.
Do you blitz more, or is that too risky against these guys?
No, we'll mix it up a little bit, just kind of like we always do. I mean, I think you've got to, got to fire all your bullets,
When you play a team that's as imbalanced as they are, 75% pass, 25% run, can you afford to shift your scheme to match that philosophy?
Well, I think in some ways that's what they want you to do, is to make a bunch of drastic changes and come up with a bunch of new coverages and that kind of stuff, because what they do well is they just do their thing. And so you always have to resist the temptation of inventing a bunch of new schemes and all this stuff, because they're going to be really good at what they do, and so you better be good at what you do. And that's always been, at Texas Tech when I worked for Mike, we'd play teams and they would show up with basically a new defense. And anytime we saw that, we always knew that was going to play into our hands. So we got to just run what we run it better than we have been in the last 5 quarters, and just go make plays.
Is part of what you need to do to control the ball with your run game and keep them off the field a little bit more than?
Yeah, I think so. I think we'd like to. I mean, I think we'd like to try to keep our defense playing under 100 plays if we could. That would certainly be helpful. But, who knows how the game's going to go, like we talked about earlier in the week. I mean, it's going to be important for us to be able to run the ball, though it always is. We want to be able to run it. We think it's important to do it. And so, we got to get that going Saturday.
Can it be extra valuable to control the pace or time of possession? Or?
Yeah, I don't know the time of possession really is that important. But
pacing?
Yeah, the pace is, anytime you can, and the good thing about it is they're not they go faster than most teams, but they're not a breakneck Oregon type thing. They're not trying to snap the ball that quickly. They're playing in a tempo and a rhythm that's pretty consistent. And so it's a little bit different than what we've seen the last 2 weeks. Arizona was coming in, I think when we played them, they were 2nd or 3rd in the country in plays, and Colorado was 3rd or 4th. Before we played them, and Washington State's good at what they do, but that's not necessarily what they do.
Washington State struggled early, losing to Rutgers, and they really didn't get it going until the last couple of games. What have you seen that's allowed them to get more effective?
Well, they have a lot of new guys defensively, and I think that they're just starting to grow up and get better. I think that's been the biggest thing. They've had to replace some guys in their secondary and linebackers, and so they're playing with some young guys just like we are, and so they're just trying to get them to grow up, and they've gotten better. They've really gotten better, and they just have gotten better as a team. I think that they've just matured and grown and improved. And the thing is, Nevada and Rutgers are both pretty good football teams, and so they haven't lost to any teams that aren't very good.
How has their offense evolved since you were with Mike at Texas Tech?
It's stayed pretty similar. I mean, there's a lot of little screwdriver changes, but nothing major. I mean, again, that's what makes it work, is just the simplicity and the ability to execute and to complete passes when the defense knows what's coming. And you just do the same thing over and over and over again. You get really good at it, and so they've stayed pretty consistent.
You mentioned that Darius White's up. Is he ready to contribute? And I mean, you had high hopes for him.
Yeah, we hope so. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. He hadn't practiced as much as we would like for him to. So he's going to be a little bit rusty. So we'll kind of see how he plays and what he can do. But we're hoping, from an athletic standpoint, is what we're looking for. I mean, he's a proven, as proven as a junior college player can be. He played very well at the JC. He played well early in camp here before he got injured, and so. he's going to be a little bit rusty, but I think he's going to give us some things maybe that we haven't gotten so far.
He didn't play against Colorado, right?
No, I didn't.
A little bit special.
Yeah, I think he got
Arizona?
in a couple of plays. Got in a couple of plays against Arizona,
but he hasn't played as a defensive
not really,
back
not
yet,
much.
right?
No.
Yeah.
Has there been any philosophical change with the first-year freshmen with Luke playing less and with Vic?
No, not at all. Not at all. No, just we wanted to get those guys in. We knew we were going to need them. We wanted to play them as much as we could early to give them experience, and I mean those guys will play a lot before the year's out. It's just kind of the way the games have gone here recently.
This part of it is also to get teams to prepare for those guys.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, I don't know that they changed that much for like a running back per se. I mean, the quarterback thing's obviously different, but the reason you do it is because you're going to need them, and it's better to get them trained on the front end as opposed to trying to get them caught up on the back end. And so that was our approach, and they're all they're going to play on special teams and going to give us a lot of meaningful snaps.
Luke,
you might play on some special teams down the road. We'll see.
Ever played in a game that went to midnight before?
Oh yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, shoot, half our games at Texas Tech after midnight. Yeah, one year I think we played Texas A&M. We kicked at 9, and so it was like,
sun was coming up by the time you were done.
It was midnight at the end of the first quarter.
The other freshmen, they've come up here and there, and they've played a decent amount. Hamilton and
Yeah.
Noah, are they continuing to progress?
Yeah, all those guys are, and I think again their roles are going to get bigger and bigger and bigger, and we just need it. I mean, we just have there's a huge hole in our football team, is just in terms of guys that are, ready to play and contribute. I mean, you have some older guys that are kind of established guys that have played some, and then you have just literally nobody. And so, we need them to play. We need them to play on special teams. We're going to need them to play on defense and offense before the year's over. And so, our deal has been, hey, let's train them on the front end, develop them, get them ready to play, and because we're going to need them.
Some of that need because you really don't have much of a senior class.
Yeah, we just don't have any depth. I mean, I think we just had so many people leave, and so much turnover in the program, and there's just not a lot of guys that have been in the program. I think we've played 38, 39 newcomers this year, and so we just needed people to fill out our roster. And so as a result of that, we've had to play a lot of young players, which is good. They're good players; they deserve to play, and we're excited to get them. To get them in the game and let them play.
How much has Lasco's emergence kind of lessened the necessity to have Trey and Vic?
Well, it's just like with Coppridge. I mean, those backs go down. I mean, that's just what they do. They get hurt, and so as I said, I mean, we knew coming into the year we were going to need 5 running backs, and so the thought was, let's figure out who the best 5 are and play them, and they were in the best 5, and so we played them. So it's that's kind of been the deal. And then, as I said, they're both starting to get more of a role on special teams as well.
And you got 8 games left, so you never know
Yeah, I mean,
who you're going to need.
They're going to play a lot before it's all over with.
There's been a lot of talk about Lasco, but what about the change-up that Calfani can provide late in the game?
I've always liked having 2 backs that were different styles, and I think that's was part of the allure with Vic. Is you've got, if Vic comes on and he's develops into what we think he's going to, then you have a really big physical back. You have Lasco, who's got a little bit of both, and then you have Calfani, who's more of a Calfani runs more physical than people think, but he's more of a speed, quickness guy. And so, you have 3 totally different guys, and I think defensively it's hard to prepare for all 3 of those guys.
What can you do late in the game against maybe a tired defense? Is that
that's good, because if they're a step slow, if we can control the ball. The defense is a step slow. You got this real fast guy comes in. He can peel off some pretty good runs. That's kind of what our formula was a little bit at Louisiana Tech. We had a couple of young running backs, and big guy and a smaller guy, and we'd wear him out with the big guy, and the small guy'd come in and rip off some big runs.
It really showed at Arizona. You only had 2 carries the first half, and the second half they just couldn't catch them.
Yeah. I think it's just you got a fast guy that can do that, and he's fresh. It makes a difference.
Can you talk a little bit about the continued growth of the offensive line? Obviously, they're a lot more stable than they were last year.
Yeah, it's been the group has played pretty well this year. I mean, there's we're still trying to get, develop some depth and get some guys to come on and compete for jobs and play well enough where we can warrant playing them in games. But the group has been pretty consistent thus far, and they keep getting better. That's what I like about them. I mean, I think that they can still continue to get better. This will be a big challenge for them this week. I mean, that's a very good defensive front, probably one of the best we'll see, and so they're going to need to play well.
I'm sure you'd answer this a ton last year, but I wasn't here, so sorry. With Mike, how close were you with him, or
Yeah,
how big of a role did he have?
Yeah, real close. I mean, we you know, I kind of cut my teeth with him, both as a GA. You know, I was kind of his position. He was my position coach, and I was his GA. So obviously that way. And then 6 years at Texas Tech. So we spent a lot of time together and close. And you know, I learned a lot of, you know, kind of develop my philosophies based on kind of what he believed in, and then, you know, you have to put your own beliefs and personality in there. But a lot of the, you know, a lot of stuff we do is based on, you know, stuff that he's done.